Well, we are very privileged and honored to be joined by our next guest, a guy that I already am going to consider a friend of the show. I know we have a rule that you have to be on the show at least once, but now that he's with us, he is 100% a friend of the show, a guy that I respect very much, as he likes to consider himself a burly NFL veteran tight end, co-host of Chief Concerns with Eric Warfield,
Let's go.
Kentucky Pro Football and EKU Hall of Famer, Dunn for kids, wearing the armor of God, as he likes to say, a big-time guy, a guy that I have loved since I was a kid. Let's give it up for our guy, Mr. Jason Dunn. How we doing tonight, Jason?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? What's going on? Can y'all hear me? Y'all good?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
You good?
You can hear
Okay,
me?
all right, cool.
Okay, I'm not hearing him.
You're not hearing him?
No.
Okay, 1 second.
Sorry about that, Jason. We got some technical
That's all right.
difficulties here.
I got you. No.
Make sure that's plugged in.
I can hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see if I can unplug.
Here we go. I hyped my guy up, Jason. I can't even hear him now.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Is that better?
There we go. I think I just heard it click. There we go. Jason, you there?
Gotcha.
I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This
Yes.
What's up, fellas? What's going on with y'all? How y'all
Hey,
doing?
we're just enjoying a lovely Saturday morning in Kansas City. We have our guy Jason Dunn joining us. How can things be wrong right now, Jason?
Listen, man, it's a beautiful day out here in Kentucky. Just got finished watching my grandson play. At soccer game. He's 5 years old, and tearing him up. He scored 1 goal, so it's a beautiful day, man. It started out wonderful, So,
Man, the fact that you have a grandson makes me feel old, man. Like, I'm watching you throughout your entire career. I'm excited as hell to talk to you. And I'm sitting here and Jason Dunn say he's got a grandkid. Like, where did time go, Jason?
Man, I have no idea. I tell my kids all the time. I said, look, y'all getting older. I'm just getting better. So that's how I look like it to me. All the time people are like, Jason, how old are you? I can't believe you have a grandson. Same thing. So I'm just like, look, I don't believe it either. But he's been an absolute blessing. I love it. He's a great guy, great kid. His name is Avery, man, and he'll be somewhere on a field or maybe on the diamond or something like that, man, maybe later on in the year. So remember this conversation. I'm telling you right now. So
we got it locked down. We got receipts for days, man. So we'll be good.
Go.
We'll make sure that Avery, shout out to Avery. I would like to get a signed jersey whenever he gets drafted. So also remember that, Jason.
I will. We got it. Here it is.
So let's get down to brass tacks here, man. You played in Kansas City for 8 seasons, and I remember all 8 years because I remember how much of a key contributor you were. We know that Tony Gonzalez got all the attention, but you were the one that did all the dirty work, in my opinion, to make Tony look as great as he was. You and that offensive line made things so easy for Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, all those guys. You made it easy for these guys. Now, knowing the tight end position the way that you do, I just have to ask off the top, how different is it today as opposed to how it was played back when you first started out? And do you believe that tight ends are finally starting to get the recognition that you guys have deserved all along?
Okay. Yeah, first question. Is it different? Significantly different. And I'll tell you why. I remember when I was coming out of Eastern Kentucky University, and I tell people this all the time. I was running 4.47. I was probably, I was 6'5", 247, 252, around that range. And I can remember my coach telling me, he said, Jason, look, you need to gain weight. If you're going to be blocking these guys in defensive ends in the NFL, you have got to gain some weight. And so you had to realize at the time, guys that I was going against was Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Charles Mann, Charles Haley. And so you were just calling on the tight end to be more of an inline blocker as opposed to it is now, where guys are just, lining up 4 feet, 4 yards outside the tackle box. And so these guys have changed the game significantly. I mean, what Travis does outside, not to mention, Waller, Kittle, Gronk, and those guys, they're got the bodies of wide receivers. They move around like wide receivers. They're very athletic, very tough. And so it has changed significantly. I remember just kind of thinking about modeling my game after big guys like Ben Coates, Eric Green, Mark Bavaro, right? Keith Jackson. I mean, all these names that was coming in of being bigger tight ends that could kind of do it all. So blocking, but also too getting out in routes, maybe catching maybe 3 or 4 balls a game. It was almost, you couldn't even hear a tight end catching 90 balls. You just weren't going to see that in the season. And so if you did, it was always that guy. Well, he's not really a tight end. He's a wide receiver like Kellen Winslow and those guys like that in that conversation. But it's changed significantly.
We know that Tony Gonzalez is always going to be hailed as one of the greatest, if not the greatest tight end of all time. Mm-hmm. But I think that a lot of times Tony got the opportunity that maybe some tight ends in his era didn't get. Do you believe in yourself, if you were given those opportunities and those targets and that ability to produce, would you been able to do what these guys are doing today?
What those guys are doing today? Well, of course, I got injured twice, so I had 2 knee surgeries when I was up in Philadelphia. So I'm looking at it like this. If I didn't have my knee surgery, I was taking the linebackers and safeties to task. I just didn't have anybody that could guard me. And so we used to run a tight end reverse in Eastern Kentucky University, and I scored 3 times off of it. Mm-hmm. One was like a 78-yarder, 68-yarder, and I think another was like 55. So I had the speed. And so as far as like the ability, it's just like you said, just playing basketball. I'm bigger, and if I'm pushing off on guys, I'm just getting into my route. To me, it's just there was no way guys were going to be able to cover me. Now, with that being said, Tony, with his transition about having the background in basketball, he was able to kind of utilize that skill set and bring it to the football field, but also too with him playing football. So he wasn't just a basketball guy. He's a guy that played football for a long time, and he played linebacker. So he had that real gritty mentality when he was going out there running routes, because he was just going to be physical. So you start seeing guys like Gatesy and guys like that who wasn't really physical. They get open, they find spots, but when you ask a guy like it to block, what is he going to do? Doesn't show up. And so I had to take my hats off to Tony, because Tony did a great job of just doing a lot of the blocking. And I know sometimes when we look at what I did in the offensive line was doing, we can't leave Tony out of that conversation. I know everybody's like, he caught 80, 90 balls a game, and Jason Dunn was a blocker. Well, look, we ran a lot of 2 tight end sets. Yeah. That was probably 75, 80% of our offense when they're 2 tight ends or T. Rich in. And so Tony had to get his nose dirty. He had to go ahead and put his head in and make some blocks, and he made some big blocks. And we just had a nice symbiotic relationship, with fits and being together and just communicating. I think it's what made it so effective just on the offensive line of that offense in itself.
Yeah, I've heard Tony on TV talk about and actually give you full credit when he talked about the teammate that was the most important to him or his favorite teammate. He brings you up. So I understand and I totally believe that. And I'm going to give credit to our guy Clay Wendler from Red Tarp Cinema for mashing up that video, that highlight reel of the touchdowns that you had here in Kansas City. And that's why I asked that question, because I see the sure-handedness, and I know that the style that you played oftentimes made you more of a, like you say, a burly blocking type. But I see the value in tight end. Even back 15, 20 years ago, when I was a young person just studying football and understanding the game, it was almost baffling to me that this position wasn't utilized more like they do now, where you have these guys playing more like a wide receiver type, a big body that's out there to get out open in space and basically be a mismatch no matter what defender is on them, whether it's a free safety, a linebacker, a defensive end, anything. They are a mismatch. So for you, I see these catches, and it's like, man, Jason Dunn had so much to his game that I think that oftentimes he gets undervalued or under-recognized, and I just can't help but marvel at that. So to that point, and to what we've seen you do, and to now we've seen the evolution of this position, when you see Travis Kelce, when you see what Tony Gonzalez did, there's an ongoing debate of which guy has played at a higher level. And now I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jason.
Okay.
Which guy do you think, to these points of their careers, we've already seen Tony Gonzalez, his career is cemented. Travis Kelce's cement is still wet, but he's playing at a high level. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's about to be 32 years old this month, and is about to have 112 receptions for 1,600 yards and 17 touchdowns, which would be the best statistical season a tight end has ever had.
Right.
Which guy do you believe has played at a higher level in their primes?
Well, I'll tell you this. A lot of goes into that, consideration. I mean, you had to really think about 2 different type of offenses. And so Pat is throwing the ball around, 38, 40, 50 times a game. And so Kelsey's just going to have more opportunity catching the football. Where, we had running backs. Larry was getting 1,700 yards a game. What running back is getting 1,700 yards in a season now? You don't see guys doing that. And so I think part of it is just opportunity. Now, but I will say this, because I played with Tony and I watched him. Tony was getting doubled and triple teamed a lot. And the physicality of how things are now is not the same, because I would say, in a lot of guys, defenders, because I'm with Eric Warfield. Warfield's like, man, it's an offensive game now, right? You can't really touch these guys. I get that part of it. I just know, during the time when Tony was running, I mean, he get triple, double and triple team, and he was making some tough catches in situations in traffic that I just didn't really see guys do. And so when I say that, I think in the prime time, I give Tony the edge just because of that, because the game was a lot more physical at the time. You could put hands on the offensive guys a little bit more than what you can do now. Now, that's not taking anything away from Travis. I think Travis is say, maybe even now, like, hey, look, Tony's still the best, right? Now he's in an era where they are feeding these guys even more. Like I said, I mean, the offenses are significantly different. But it's not taking anything away from Travis, not at all. I just think with what Tony, the difficulty, right? The difficulty of what he had to do things was a little tougher. And I just say it that way.
We brought up a debate between Trevor and I. We were actually talking about how things ended with Tony here in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Now, it wasn't pretty, and I think Tony handled it with absolute class, but there were a lot of fans that were still disgruntled about it ending, period. Now, I defended Tony, and I said that I felt that he had every right to leave. He had every right to want out because he gave this team 11 years, and they hadn't won anything, and he wanted an opportunity to retire with some winning attached to his legacy. And I was hoping he would get that. And I don't know exactly how the Chiefs handled it from behind the scenes. We only heard certain stories. But I felt that it was the right time and the right place. But I also believe if Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were here, Tony Gonzalez would have stuck around because winning would have occurred with him. How do you, looking at it from where you were and how you know Tony so well, how do you think that situation was handled, and do you think it was the right thing to happen?
Okay, I'll say this because I don't want to divulge anything for Tony. I'm not going to speak on him, speak for him dealing with behind the scenes, and we'll have something where we'll be able to come out, talk a little bit more. But there was a lot going on there. But I will say this: I know one of the issues and problems was not necessarily, the upper management. It might have been the coaching staff. We had what's his name. I can't even think of his name. It was offense coordinator with Pittsburgh. Todd Haley. Yeah, Todd Haley. And so I remember Tony having a conversation with Todd Haley that he called me after he had a conversation. I mean, he was pissed. He was really pissed. And a lot of it was, when you have, a guy coming in as his first year of the head coach, he's trying to establish a standard. He's trying to get his name out there, get control of the team. I think one of the things demands was, hey, Tony, you got to basically do everything like a rookie is doing, right? So we're talking about a guy who's already been to 9 Pro Bowls, been all pro for maybe 6 years or 7 years in a row, who without a doubt is a consummate pro, takes care of his body better than anybody else I've known, eating the right things, like becoming, a vegan and whatnot. He had a routine that gave him the ability where he can go see his family, working out in California, doing some other things just off the field that he could not stay away from the practice facility, but he was putting more time and effort into your family because that's what you want to do. If you got a family like he did, it makes sense, right? Yeah. If I live in California, I want to be in California with my family. The times I need to be at practice, I'll be at practice. And I think there were some demands that was put on him that he really didn't like. And then, of course, maybe when you start getting into some negotiations, if he's looking at something, he's like, look, like you said, he's been here for 11 years. He may be looking at the direction of the team, and he may not like it, right? I mean, I'll kind of parallel it to kind of like what Aaron Rodgers was thinking about. Like, Aaron's like, look, man, we're trying to win this one thing. I understand that you're trying to make moves for the future, but I need to win stuff now, right? I got all the personal accolades. I've got all of those individual things. Now I want to get a team thing. I want to get this, a Super Bowl, right? And I know he's been chasing it. It was always one on us where we just didn't win a playoff game. We wanted to do it. That year we was 13-3. We should have won it that year. We knew that. We had the greatest team in football, best offensive football without a doubt. And so I know to him, when you get to the later parts of your career, that's one thing you're trying to obtain, right? You've gotten the money, you got all the individual things. Now it's trying to get that Super Bowl. And I don't fault him for going there to Atlanta. I think sometimes as teams, if that's your guy, you got to do everything within your power to make sure that guy is happy, to make sure you get everything in order so he doesn't leave, right? And here's the thing. This is one thing I also know too. Tony loved Kansas City. I mean, he put his time, when I'm talking the Children's Hospital, the things he did in the community. I mean, he hated leaving. And I think sometimes people are bitter about it, but they keep forgetting that, we're just people like they are too, right? And so sometimes, there's decisions that you have to make, hard decisions, maybe you don't want to do, but sometimes you feel like you got slighted in a different way, whatever it is. I don't care if it's your boss is telling you something behind closed doors. So everybody don't quite understand it, and everybody's not going to divulge how they feel about certain situations. For him going there, he just thought like, look, you know what? Atlanta is a great city. You know what? I have a chance to win here. I got some great guys around me. So this looks like kind of a place that, I need to be. So I know people are kind of salty with it, but I tell you what, there's a lot that's there that if, we just, give some grace and understanding, like, look, man, Tony's a chief through and through. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's who he bleeds. That's where he cut his teeth. Shoot, that's the place that he was birthed at with his NFL career. And he's never forgotten that, not one day, so.
Yeah. I appreciate that honest answer. That's profound stuff right there, Jason. And I want to actually transition to right now with the current structure of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
We know that the record is not what we thought it was going to be. We broke this down in the first segment, but I want to get your viewpoint on what's going on with this team. We know the turnovers are a real issue, especially over the last couple of weeks. We know the defense has been really, really bad over the first 3 weeks of this season. I still believe that this team can turn it around because they're far too talented. They've proven it over the last 3 years that they can overcome pretty much anything that comes their way. But I do have my legitimate concerns, and I know you're a co-host of a show called The Chiefs Concerns, so we need to get your concerns on this as well. I know you liked my new nickname I gave the new tandem of the tight ends, which I call them the skyscrapers with cleats. I know you dug that one.
Yes, sir. I love it. That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh my God, I love that. I absolutely love it. I was like, now I gave you credit for it. I said, man, my man Lance came up with it. I said, we got to get that trending. Somehow we got to get that trending.
I think the way it gets trended, Jason, if they start utilizing these tight ends a little bit more. I know Noah Gray got a reception a week ago. I know Jody Fortson got a touchdown.
Yeah.
And obviously Travis Kelce is eating. But I'd like to see some 12, 13, and 14 personnel a little bit more because I think it opens up the offense even better.
Yes.
The offense isn't the ultimate concern to me, but right. I think that there are some things that we could see from this offense that we haven't seen yet. What are your ultimate takeaways so far for this season?
So yeah, nobody was expecting 1 and 2, right? But one thing I do know, man, this is the NFL, and like I said before, no team's just going to lay down for you. They're just not. Those guys get paid too, and so when you're at the pinnacle, you're the team that everybody's shooting for, right? You're the one at the top of the hill. You know everybody's going to bring their A game. Look, I look at it like, we're everybody's Super Bowl, right? If you can knock out the champs, right? It's bragging rights. It's bragging rights. So now all of a sudden you get that good feel. Now you start getting, that pat on the back from your fans, like, oh man, y'all beat the mighty Chiefs. I mean, that's what they are. They're the mighty Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Me no scrubs from who's been struggling, 7-9 or 10-6. Hadn't been those, right? And so I think sometimes with that type of success, we get spoiled a little bit. We expect to win every single game, which we should. We got Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, CEH, and we just got a brand new offensive line. Not to mention who's on the other side of the ball with Tyrann Mathieu and whatnot, and Chris Jones, and Jaron Reed. So there's a reason why guys and everybody in Chiefs Kingdom expects a victory every single week. So I think part of the problem is this. I think execution of your personnel is part of the problem. I think I know Eric is not really a fan of. He said the Chris Jones experiment. To me, I like it. I like Chris Jones being out there defensive end. Does it take something away from the middle? It does, but we brought a guy in to replace that. Right. And I think look, you don't abandon a project because it didn't work the first few games. Look, it's a long season. This is week number 3, and sometimes guys don't really gel together till like week 5 that you might be able to see the fruits of that. And so I think, man, a lot of it is just patience of understanding how these things work. Look at, and here's the thing: we're not getting blown out. I mean, here's all 3 close games. 2 of them playoff teams with 2 dynamic, actually 3 dynamic teams with great, personnel on it. And so we can't take away from that either. Look, Cleveland's going to be a playoff team. Ravens going to be a playoff team, and then we know out there, man, and with the Chargers, they're up and coming team. They're good. So, like I said, man, ain't nobody chopped liver out there, man.
Yeah.
But I think we got to do a better job as far as getting guys in better position, communicating on defense, and we need to get some more stuff from the guys up front. Nandi, Warrington, defensive ends, Kando, and all those guys. Man, we need more from them guys.
Pressure, man.
We need it. We need pressure, and we don't see that. I watched the game twice. After Sunday, just evaluating, watching. Because I used to play defensive end. And I'm just looking at
in 2003, you guys started the season out 9-0. Now the Chiefs have had a string of success over the last 3 seasons, and I think that sometimes when success becomes easy, or not easy, but it seems easy at times, that there might be a lull here and there. Now, I know that your guys' season in 2003 started out 9-0, and I believe you guys lost to the Bengals in Cincinnati that season that gave you guys your first loss. Do you think there's a certain mentality that change or clicks? Because I'm not one of those people that believes that there's moral victories to take from losses. I think you can learn from losses, obviously, or you should be learning from losses. But when that loss took place, did it awake something in you guys, and do you think that could be something that helps the Chiefs maybe re-engage this season? Because unlike the previous 3 years, September has been a rough month for them.
We were 9-0. I mean, we were rolling on all cylinders, and to be honest with you, every game that you go in, you're still expecting to win.
Right.
Sometimes things happen. It's like, oh, well, like what happened? Okay, now I got a loss. So you reevaluate, of course, every single loss. Like you said, you have to learn from the mistake that you made or with the loss that you take. And so to us, I'm not going to say we weren't really worried about the loss. To us, we like, look, the main goal is still the main goal. We're still trying to win the Super Bowl. That's what we're trying to get to. And so, yeah, Cincinnati, hey, 1 and done, leave that away, right? That game's gone. And so I think you have to have the mentality that each week you have to get that victory, that one victory. You can't look ahead and saying, well, should we at now every single week, right? Any team that comes in, we're 0-0. Come in, win this one. Come in, win this week. And I think when Patrick and them came, when he first started, that was the mentality. Just win this week, right? Let everything else take care of itself. We don't have to look, farther and count games. Just win this week. Just win this week. Andy does a great job of getting those guys mentally prepared, focused on, the little things, the details of it. And I think right now, the details with what guys are missing out in is part of the problem. And somebody could say, hey, you know what, he's trying too hard, trying to put it all on his back. No, he's not trying to put it on his back. He just got the ability to make certain throws and do certain things that he's just going to do, right? I don't think he's playing out of character at all. None of us would say that. Shoot, he's had, some mishaps with fumbling. We ain't seen that in the past 2 years. These guys just fumbling like that or turning the ball over. It didn't happen. We didn't see anything like that. So now I know Patrick is reevaluating those things. They're going to get it. Look, they're going to get it fixed. I have no issue and no problem with the guys on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, I know you was talking about just concern. Part of that mentality, like, look, we understand that our offense has the ability to score any time during the game. So we got to be more prepared and more ready to go in at any time and play longer than the offense is. I mean, it's just the reality. Unless you're just trying to go in and say, look, we got to get them 3 and out, right? And just change balls. But if you don't do that, look, this is going to be a long game for us each and every week. We don't get the things done, it's going to be a long, long game. And so Tyrann Mathieu is going to do a much better job getting those guys ready. I think the first game you surely missed, right? But did a good job and got the victory without him. So him coming back and kind of getting these younger guys, because he got younger guys around him. You know, some guys, Baker, Hughes, and all those guys that he still got to communicate and talk to. You know, Naeem, he's got to get him, same thing. Bolton, he's got to get all these guys put together on the same page. And so him being the junior out there on the defense, that's his job. And so his mentality is like, look, these guys' offense is going to get it done. We know we got to understand we got to have their back. We have to have their back. If they don't score enough points, we make sure that the other team is not scoring enough points. Okay? We got to keep them out of the end zone. So I think that more your mentality, they just got to talk to each other and say, look, man, look, everybody's saying you try to do too much. Others are saying we're not doing enough. What we need to do is play together as a team. Don't listen to the noise that's out here. Stay on social media and Twitter and all that. Listen to it, but don't buy into it, right? We know the guys in this room, who they are, what we've been doing. You can't take away what we did in the past 2 years. So let's just understand that, get our focus back together, and let's go out there and just play ball.
Couple more questions for you, Jason. And again, we really do appreciate you taking your time, man. And on a beautiful Saturday, I'm assuming it's beautiful out there in Kentucky as well. It's gorgeous here in Kansas before it starts to storm, or at least they're saying it's supposed to storm, but it ain't looking like it right now. But speaking of storm, do you think the Chiefs are going to bring a storm into Philadelphia this week? Because it seems like this is a get-right game for them, both offensively and defensively, because at this point of the season, they have not played together on both offense and defense in one game. You saw the defense play strong in that first quarter against the Chargers, but coincidentally, the offense was turning the ball over with precision at that point, and it feels like they haven't been on the same page at all this season. Do you think that changes this week in Week 4?
I think so. I think a lot of it is, and try not to pressure yourself, really. Just go out there and play ball like you've been playing ball at a high level. You do that, it's going to take care of itself. And so, like you said, the one thing you have to eliminate is the turnovers. If they do that, just eliminate the turnovers, they win handily. It's not even a close game. It shouldn't be. Any game that we're into, eliminate the turnovers, should be fine, right? And so this week, I think it turns over. You know, you beat a team in Philadelphia. Hey, look, and I played in Philly. That's an absolute, man, it's a brutal place to play, hostile environment. They're going to be ready. The fans are going to be ready. And they're going to be leaning on the Chiefs every chance they can. And look, Andy's going back. So it's a big game just all in itself. So you have all these things, this storm that you're talking about. Navigate it. Navigate the storm that's coming in, right? And so, like I said, take care of the things you can take care of. First off, take care and secure the football. Number 2, play stellar defense. Make sure you get the pressures. Whatever you did in practice to make it work, make sure it works. Got to get the better on the inside, on the outside, getting pressure to the quarterback. And number 3, I'm going to say this. We need a little bit more from special teams, too. I don't want to leave special teams. There's 3 phases of the game in football. And so I need some dynamic guys, making some good returns, making some good decisions, being put in a better position to score. And I think it helps out. And I think if you get all 3 phases working, we're going to bode well for it. So it's going to be tough in Philadelphia, but Phillies, they 0-3 right now. So I know the city's just, they are on their neck right now. I just know it. And whatever you think Kansas City fans are to the Chiefs, it's 10 times that in Philly.
Well, and also the irony that this could be Andy Reid's 100th victory as the Chiefs head coach, and it would be where he formerly was coaching for 14 years. So there's a lot of poetry with this one, man. So I think that this is a win that the guys want to get Andy in Philadelphia, and I hope that he gets a warm welcome because he hasn't coached there since 2013, or he coached there in 2013 as a Chiefs head coach a year after they fired him there. And I know a lot of it was a mixed bag out there because a lot of Eagles fans were telling me, hey, he's going to screw things up out there. And then there are other ones who are like, how did we let this guy go? Like, what the hell are we thinking? Right. And you've seen them regret that decision. I think they've had 5 new coaches since that decision was made almost a decade ago. Now, my final question to you, Jason Dunn, a man who lived here for almost a decade in Kansas City. I have to know, my man, what was your go-to barbecue joint in Kansas City?
My go-to barbecue spot in Kansas City. I had a few of them. I'm gonna say this. Was it Alabama Joe's? Is that?
You talking about Joe's KC? Yeah, KC Joe's. Yeah.
It used to be Oklahoma Joe's.
Yeah.
Oklahoma Joe's was we got some Oklahoma Joe's one time at practice. Coach Ramil brought it in. It was absolutely phenomenal. Of course, what's that? LG's the one that's by the stadium. I don't even know if they're still open anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, LC's.
Yeah,
Yep.
LC. Yeah. Oh, wonderful spot. Wonderful spot.
Gates, man. You Gates in there.
Gates, you know what? I first got to Gates. Gates is good. I think it's a little bit more franchise commercialized now. It was. And look, I haven't tasted it lately. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't eat too much barbecue now, just because I'm trying to keep the extras off me. Right?
I was wondering if maybe you took the Tony G route and went vegan for a second.
Well, I did. I'm more plant based in what I do.
Okay.
Definitely,
okay.
Yeah. So I don't do beef. I do a little chicken and turkey here and a lot of fish, but more plant-based. So the barbecue stuff, man, I love smelling it. Every time I'm in Kansas City, man, I put my nose in the air, just get a nice whiff.
I tell you, it's special, man.
Yeah. I like Zarda's is another place. Zarda's is a good spot. I like Zarda's barbecue.
Great beans.
Oh yeah. Man, it was I don't know what the place is called, but I remember I was coming back home to Kentucky and I drove. And I stopped at this one little hole in the wall joint. And it was the greatest barbecue that I've ever had in Kansas City. And I can't think of this place, but every time I see the exit, I'm always looking at the exit like, man, is this the exit? Is this the one? And it was just, I'm telling you, like the place was, just maybe a 6x10.
It's like that sometimes, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, my goodness. And I remember I was driving back and I'm going to tell you how good it was. I called my brother and then I called my sister. And I was just like, listen, I don't know if I could keep this food with me on my way back to Kentucky, but this barbecue is absolutely off the chain. Absolutely off the chain. So, some great stuff, man. There's another little spot. It's kind of new.
It's like Q39?
What is it?
Q39? Are you talking about Q39?
Q39.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's by my boys, Joe Perez's spot.
Fire.
Yeah. They got some good stuff, man.
Well, I don't know how often you're here in Kansas City, but I've told other guests this, and I mean this every time I say it. No one's taken us up on it yet. But when you come back to Kansas City, Jason, you better hit me up because how about chicken wings? Because I know you don't do beef right now.
Right.
We will cook you up with some chicken wings from the barbecue spot of your joint. Maybe we can even find the place that you were talking about off that exit, man, and we can call your brother again.
Okay. Hey, man, that sounds good, man. Too, because
you better hold me to it, man. Because I'm a man of my word. I will shake over the video right now that we will do this. I promise you that, man.
Lance, listen. Look, I have no problem. Trev, Lance coming knocking on the door. Listen, hey, man, what's up? Hey, look, y'all invited me. I'm here.
I'll be mad if you don't, man. If I find out you were in Kansas City, you didn't hit me up, I'll be upset.
With a good time, man.
And you're a lot bigger than me, but I'll still, give myself a fighter's chance here, all right? Jason, before you get out of here, let the people know where they can find you on social media and how they can find your show.
Okay, so doing a show, Chiefs Concerns, and we find it on Twitter. Of course, we on Spotify and Apple. We do the YouTube channel too with this, just going on YouTube on Chiefs Concerns. Man, we've had some wonderful guests, a lot of former players, some coaches. Dick Vermeil, which is a great segment going in and talking to him. Matter of fact, nice. He's going to be doing this game up there in Philly as well. So I'd love to hear him when he gets in talking about he thinks about the entire thing. But that's pretty much it, man. Chiefs Concerns, me and Eric Warfield, Marcus Dash, man, we just kind of doing our thing, getting this thing out here. I want more people to kind of see it, man, because we just kind of talking ball. We're talking behind the scene things. We're just talking going in nostalgia, right? Just going over the back in the days. And this is what I love. The people that know, like the older players, I don't really consider them like an old player, but older guys, I'm like, look, those are the Chiefs fans, right? I get, you becoming a Patrick Mahomes guy, then you ask, well, what about Priest Holmes? Who was that? What?
The disrespect.
Right. Dante Hall? Yeah, is he?
You don't know Jason Dunn? What the? I'd have backhand you.
This guy. Hey, this guy. Come on now. Gotta know me. Oh yeah.
Oh, trust me, we will never forget the great Jason Dunn, man. Trevor and I were kids in the 2000s, man, and we very much appreciated what you and Tony brought to the team, man. We just put it like that. So we've been fans of yours for many years, and I never thought that I would sit here on a show with you talking football, man. But it is an absolute pleasure, a privilege, and an honor of mine. And I will speak for Trevor on that because we've been big fans for many years, and I cannot thank you enough, man, for taking the time on your Saturday. So from Kansas to Kentucky, we want to thank you for your time, and I hope this ain't the only time we have you on the show. And like I said, I'll reemphasize, you better hold me to that barbecue, man, because I will hook you up whenever you're back in town.
Yeah, man. Look, Lance, man, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for allowing me to grace, your show, come in and talk a little ball, man, and just kind of mix it up some, man. And definitely, I will absolutely keep you up on it. Lance, Trev, both of you guys. I mean, you dudes. Hey, I'm gonna come knock on the door. We're gonna have some nice barbecue, sit down, have a nice chat, all right, and just relax and enjoy, each other, man.
We are very much looking forward to it. And again, man, you are awesome, and we appreciate everything you do and everything you brought to the show today. This was absolutely our pleasure, man. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it, my brother. All right.
Have a great day. That is our guy, Jason Dunn, the great Chiefs player. He has an awesome show. I've actually been peeping him and Eric Warfield talking some things about current events, and they have some good stuff, man. So definitely go give him a follow, give their show a follow. They are worth your time, I promise you. And it's always good to hear the insight from the inside looking in, because whether Jason Dunn's retired or not, this dude is on the inside because he has knowledge that I will never have, and Trevor and I will never have. But it's always good to hear it. And I hope that you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, Trevor. That was fun, man. I could have just sat here and listened to him talk the whole time, dude. That was a blast.
I was sitting back and soaking it all up, man. I was just enjoying it. And
Jason's the best,
tight ends
man.
was my position growing up, so it was just surreal being able to talk to a guy that we watched on film for some years. And watching him and Tony play, man, that was some fun days.
I'm just gonna be transparent with the viewing and listening audience here, and for all the YouTubers, live streamers, or podcasters. Thank you for for tuning in, man. But there are times, man, where this thing can, it can feel surreal. I don't ever let a moment get too big for myself because I can handle it. I can get through it. I can, process a thought or make a good conversation. But then there's times, man, where I get a little fanboyish. I ain't gonna lie, dude. Talking to Jason Dunn, man, that was one of those moments for sure, dude. So I'm definitely living on cloud 9 right now. But we need to get to the Monday mailbag.